Hello and welcome to NDTV-HINDU's first weekly edition of Businessline, the show that promises to bring you all the action from the world of business. So join me every week for all the latest news and happenings. Our top story, one swallow doesn't make a summer. Likewise, one optimistic quarter doesn't make a fiscal. So are we out of the downturn? Does a GDP growth of 6.1% in the first quarter of 2009-2010 indicate a recovering economy? Let's find out.
The economic upturn appears to have truly begun. The latest government data shows the economy is growing by 6.1% year-on-year during the first quarter of the fiscal. Now compare this with 5.8% in the last quarter of 2008-2009. However, this pales against the 7.8% of the first quarter of last year. 3 more quarters will make the pie and tell the story.
Looks very good. Well, I think it's consistent with what we were hoping for, and we have to wait and see. Definitely shows that the worst may be over, and we expect to see an improved performance in the subsequent quarters of the year.
Mining and electricity in the industrial sector and financing in the services sector posted higher growth of 7.9, 6.2 and 8.1% respectively in the first quarter of this fiscal against 4.6, 2.7 and 6.9% a year ago. Agriculture and manufacturing industries expanded at a slower rate of 2.4 and 3.4% respectively. India remains the second fastest growing major economy after China, which notched an almost 8% growth rate.
If the drought affects the agriculture growth, it will partly affect the growth number, definitely. But how much we can manage, that depends on how much the growth will be affected. Keep the inflation under control. You see, look, we must understand the food price inflation is already around 10%. Consumer price, so how to keep the inflationary pressure low, that's the key challenge before the RBI. At the same time, not to disturb the growth momentum, which is itself is the still we are not very sure how much the things have recovered. So that is the key challenge before the RBI at present.
Despite the adverse effects of drought and inflation, the Indian economy has accelerated, drawing support from government stimulus measures. Industry experts are confident that the economy should be able to bounce back by 2011 and stabilize by the 12th plan.
The automobile industry is proving that June and July sales were not a flash in the pan, and that growth revved up all through August. We look at the future trends with Ketan Thakkar and Rajat Guha.
Motown marches on with strong sales, and unlike July, which saw sales growth in pockets, August numbers are looking good across the board. Mahindra & Mahindra's utility vehicle sales were up 16%, but the poor monsoon is catching up fast with its farm equipment business. Tata Motors is seeing some revival in its commercial vehicle portfolio. Passenger cars are also showing decent growth, but the bumper numbers are with Maruti Suzuki India, with record exports to boot.
Growth is led by, one is this was festival season that gave us a good fillip. Our new models have found favor, they are doing very well. Ritz was launched in May, so very well.
It's perhaps becoming customary that market leaders blazed ahead of the rest. On the two-wheeler side as well, Hero Honda posted record numbers, selling more than 4 lakh bikes in a single month for the first time. The good response to the new Flame has helped TVS Motor punch in 11% growth for its two-wheelers, while Yamaha India's sales shot up 68% and Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India posted a 14% growth. It has to be said that August 2008 was when the slowdown started impacting sales, and so there was a base effect that kicks in when you look at August numbers for this year. Experts also point out that while the festive season is expected to bring in even better numbers, it's after that that things will go sour.
The concern right now that one would have is what's going to happen after 15th October. Because then 15th October till end of December, you almost have a 2.5 month period when there's actually a slowdown, because a lot of the buying is going to accumulate into the period between now and 15th October.
So it will be a tough October to December period that will perhaps decide the fate of the industry for its full year performance chart. And of course, it remains to be seen when commercial vehicle inventory, especially heavier vehicles, also start moving. With Ketan Thakkar in Mumbai and Rajat Guha in New Delhi, Siddharth Vinayak Patankar, NDTV.
It's almost curtains on Subhiksha, once the country's biggest retail chain. The Madras High Court has hammered another nail into Subhiksha's coffin by accepting a winding up petition of Kotak Mahindra Bank. A restructuring proposal by Subhiksha was also dismissed by the court. Madhu Bharati has the details.
Once regarded as the pioneer of India's retail revolution, the endgame for Subhiksha has begun. The Madras High Court has accepted the winding up petition of Kotak Mahindra Bank against the retailer. As a first step, Kotak will advertise the acceptance of the winding up notice in national newspapers. Pending an appeal at a divisional bench, the appointment of a provisional liquidator has also been deferred. Significantly, the High Court has also dismissed a restructuring proposal by Subhiksha. With its CDR falling through, the scheme of arrangement was the one hope left for the retailer.
There might be a few people who would want to say that they are opposing the winding up for reasons that they can substantiate. But it's going to open floodgates and more creditors are going to come in with their claims as well. Company can come out of it. It's not that just because advertisement is ordered, the gates are shut. But looking at it from the perspective of the huge amount that we are talking about which is involved, looks highly unlikely.
Subhiksha's promoter Subramanian says an appeal in a higher court will be filed against the dismissal of the scheme of arrangement. The petition had proposed a 50% payout to all banks on a pro rata basis in 3 to 10 years. The retailer has a loan outstanding of 928 crore rupees. Kotak, for its part, says money to the tune of 230 crore rupees has been siphoned off by the promoters and that investigations should be carried out on the company. These closed shutters and fallen name boards are symbolic of where Subhiksha is headed. From 2006 to 2008, Subhiksha went from 150 to 1,600 stores. Now, none of them are open. While the ascent was quick, the descent was even quicker. So it's just a matter of time when the once household name Subhiksha will be forgotten.
As our cities shrink and buildings grow, the way we construct must also change. Saint-Gobain Gyproc, part of the larger French company Saint-Gobain, is trying to reach out to our architects, interior designers and builders about the future of construction. Charitra Parthasarthi reports.
Leaders in construction solutions, Saint-Gobain Gyproc is on a mission. The company is trying to promote its drywall and acoustic ceiling designs in the country through its city-based knowledge seminars. These products are used extensively abroad across climatic conditions and are meant to score over the wet construction methods presently prevalent in India, as they are lighter, thinner, fire and earthquake resistant.
We're talking about value. If we can deliver buildings earlier, 2-3 months ahead of programme, that really is quite a high return on capital investment, and also delivering more space in buildings.
Saint-Gobain Gyproc, with an annual turnover of 300 crores, has 4 manufacturing plants in the country, which make gypsum plaster boards and plasters among other products. The company is looking at doubling its turnover in the next few years, as it believes there's a large client base waiting to be tapped.
To start with, drywalls will be popular among office spaces. It's already popular in the office space segment. Going forward, drywalls will start getting incorporated more and more in hotels, in hospitals, industrial units, schools, and the final holy grail for the business for drywalls will be the residential sector.
Acoustics is another potential market for the company in India. Studies indicate that a good audio environment can add years to one's life. However, India still has to play catch-up in comparison to places like North America and Europe. This alternate construction system hasn't been marketed very well till now in our country. Also, real estate players find it difficult to let go of the brick and mortar type of construction. But the winds of change have arrived and companies like Saint-Gobain Gyproc are hoping to lead the way.
And now let's take a look at how the markets have performed this week.